Hello, class. The company I've chosen for this project is the Boeing Company. Founded in 1916, the company is 106 years old. Founded by William Boeing, headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Boeing is the largest exporter of the United States economy. Over the years, they have merged with many other companies to increase their scope of business. They have 140,000 employees worldwide and have operations in 65 different countries, as well as customers in over 140 different countries. So they are truly a global company. Their only real competitor on the commercial aircraft side is Airbus. They essentially have a duopoly on that market. Their defense sales are a big part of their operations and have kept U.S. defense aircraft being built for many years after originally expected because of foreign sales. They were one of the first aircraft manufacturers in the country, and being made in the U.S. gives them a big advantage in the U.S. market with a 43.5% share of the market compared to Airbus at a 23% share. They also built Air Force One, so they have two new Air Force One planes being delivered in 2024 with a total of about $5 billion deal. Boeing's defense side is vital to national security, and they did about $20 million of revenue in 2021. Presidents have openly lobbied for Boeing, for U.S. airline to buy Boeing aircraft due to the fact that they're built here in the U.S. and helps the U.S. economy. China is the other country I'd like to focus on today. Boeing broke into the Chinese market in 1972 when President Nixon first visited China as the first sitting U.S. president to visit mainland China ever. That same year, China ordered 10 new 707s and continued from there. A Boeing VP then said that Boeing went into China with President Nixon, and it was the best advertising they could have gotten. Half of China's total commercial aircraft is Boeing made, and China is 22% of Boeing's total revenue. The cultural differences between the U.S. and China are pretty big. China is focused on the group and team forward thinking. Americans are more focused on the individual. Confrontations are to be avoided in China. And freedom of speech and internet censoring is also an issue in China that they have. We don't have here in America. Chinese companies place more of an emphasis on the structure of the company and hierarchy as opposed to the U.S. And Guanji, which we discussed in class, is very important for China in developing relationships on trust. Political differences. The state has so much more control in China due to their type of government. The intellectual theft is an issue with China, and some businesses recently have said that it's promoted by the government. With China trying to develop their own large frame commercial aircraft, Boeing is even more on guard to prevent trade theft from the Chinese and their government to build that large commercial aircraft. Boeing was used a lot in the recent trade war with the Trump administration, and China almost essentially being used as a pawn between the two administrations. Political tensions in Taiwan are big for Boeing too, because they sell defense products, and recently the Boeing defense CEO was sanctioned for selling arms to Taiwan, which China does not like because they would like to not recognize Taiwan's sovereignty. Boeing's size has at times been a disadvantage with over 28,000 suppliers and 65 to 70% of the parts made outside the U.S. They still need to all be met to U.S. standards, which played a bit of a part in the MAX 8 crashes from a couple of years ago. Lack of oversight and unethical managers were partly to blame for that, and the size of Boeing, it's as if they just couldn't keep all of their managers in line, and they're still trying to recover from that. They lost billions of dollars and hundreds of aircraft orders, a lot to China, and China was the first to ground the aircraft and still has not started flying the MAX 8 a lot, so they're still working on that. In conclusion, the future's still bright. Profits continued to grow in 2022. International managers just need to navigate a changing landscape and be
be
on the lookout for existing and emerging markets and focus on what they can control in the Chinese market. Thank you for listening.